Hello and welcome to the streets of Carlton for what is set to be the most amazing finish to a bike race and a tour, not only here in Australia, but anywhere in the world. After 700 kilometres of racing, the top three riders are separated by just 1 second. Mountain bike champion Chris Yongaward, he's wearing yellow, and 1 second behind him, big international Irishman David McCann, and also the defending champion Simon Gerrans. But in 80 minutes' time, we will have a winner right here on the streets of Carlton, here in Lygon Street for the final stage of the Jayco Herald Sun Tour. It's already a festive atmosphere around the streets of Carlton. The public is certainly here en masse, expecting a crowd of nearly 30,000 people, and for the riders and for the public, it's certainly going to be edge of the seat stuff. It's an extraordinary scenario. It couldn't be tighter. All the big names are going to feature, but let's have a look back at the last 6 days of racing that have got us here to this grand finale. McEwen making the dash from Indonesia to the Gold Coast, then Melbourne and on to Shepparton. But it was Hilton Clark who took out the intermediate sprints in the leader's yellow jersey. Stage 2 was decisive, with a group of 16 top-class riders breaking the tour open with a massive 30-minute break. Carl Menzi snatched yellow before the sluggish peloton finished with a spectacular crash right on the line. On day 3, Matthew Lloyd really surged for the King of the Mountain honours, but the stage finished with an emotional Trent Wilson taking out his first win after 7 years on the tour. In stage 4, the top 9 riders were only 30 seconds apart. Mitchelton Winery gave way to Rickety Bridges. Japan's Satoshi Hiroshi claimed his country's best ever stage win, narrowly pipping local hope David Tanner in a photo finish. Bushranger Country and Benalla played host to the start of the tour's longest stage. Lake Eildon as dry as the riders in the scorching northerly before Lloyd completed a staggering solo effort to the top of Lake Mountain. Defending champion Simon Gerrans got his first taste of yellow before yesterday's time trial around Kew, when mountain bike champion Chris Yongaward produced the ride of his life to grab the lead after a scorching 15:46 lap. Giant Asia's David McCann and Simon Gerrans finished one agonising second overall behind. So what an amazing week it has been, and earlier today I caught up with a fairly nervous Chris Yongaward, the man wearing yellow, and he's trying to keep at bay. He was trying to work it out. Simon Gerrans and also David McCann.
Yeah, well, we've had a good discussion last night, and we've got a few tactics up our sleeves. So yeah, the legs are good. So just hopefully I can pull it off today.
How do you think you're going to go against Gerrans and McCann?
Yeah, well, I've got a pretty good kick, and I rate myself on the bunch kick. So it's just a matter of the tactics, how they unfold, and just play it by ear.
It's been an amazing year for you. The Commonwealth Games for Australia, and now the yellow jersey and the Jayco Herald Sun Tour.
Yeah, that's definitely a good way to start it, with the Oceania's first event, first big event of the year, and then Commonwealth Games, which was awesome. That was the first time I've basically represented Australia in such a big event, and then that was a big buzz to go on with going overseas, and now this couldn't be better.
Chris, good luck today.
Thank you.
And you can see Chris Yongaward on top of the Jayco General Classification. David McCann and Simon Gerrans just that 1 second behind. But don't discount Phil Zajacek from the USA. He's just down the 6 seconds as well. So as for the other 4 riders, not in the picture. To the HLP Mortgage Co. King of the Mountain, a terrific win there to Matthew Lloyd from SA.com. He dominated all the big climbs. And for the Portfolio Partners Sprinters green jersey, Hilton Clark in the box seat there. Tobias Erler, an unlikely outside chance to draw, even if the big German takes all the sprint points today. To the map now, and there's the 1.7 kilometre street circuit ahead for the riders. They will complete 65 kilometres around the heart of Carlton in the Argyle Square precinct, starting and finishing on the famous Lygon Street. So the scene is certainly set. It is going to be a massive race, handlebar to handlebar action for the next 80 minutes. Join us after the break for the start of the Jayco Herald Sun Tour final stage.
When the victim is more psycho than the accused.
All his injuries, all self-inflicted.
How can Goran tell good from evil?
She's still a sadist and a murderer. That's all we need to know.
Criminal Intent, 8:30 tonight.
Win the ride of your life with Dean Grant at his 400 horsepower hand-cooked Porsche GT3 around Calder Raceway. Just buy 4 hand-cooked Ventus ultra high-performance tyres from participating hand-cooked dealers and you could win one of 20 hand-cooked hot laps. Enter now.
Dad, got any spare cash? Thanks.
Today's an even better day to start saving. Because now with 7 5-star ratings, the Commonwealth Bank has Australia's most highly awarded savings accounts.
It's a 99. Immaculate body. Sparkling finish. It's done about 90,000 Ks, and I'd say this Falcon was 2 months past its scheduled service. Glad we booked him in, Davo.
Nobody knows your Ford like we do. Visit your Ford dealer now and our factory-trained technicians will conduct a Ford super service on your EF to AU3 Falcon or Falcon Ute, Laser or Festiva for only $157. Ford service. Nobody knows your Ford like we do.
All your favourite As Seen on TV products can be found at globalshopdirect.com.au. Do you wish you could drive the ball like Mark O'Meara? Now you can with the Medicus. It'll help you get rid of those hooks and slices and start hitting longer, straighter tee shots and shooting lower golf scores. The Medicus dual hinge driver can improve your golf swing in as little as 15 minutes. The results are amazing. And best of all, you won't believe the price. So go to globalshopdirect.com.au. Remember the name, it's globalshopdirect.com.au. Your online As Seen on TV store.
Hit the road in a Jayco camper trailer, hit the road in a pop-up or caravan. Australia, you're in Jayco country. Jayco! From the great outback along the highway, from the snowy to the great ocean road. Ballooning in the Yarra Valley, Jayco so easily towed. Hit the road today with Jayco's comfort, hit the road with Jayco's quality. Australia, you're in Jayco country.
Rush home from work weeknights.
I'm in the middle of something.
Bender's going to drop in.
Ow.
7 o'clock weeknights. He's going to give you a glimpse of the future. Futurama. 7 o'clock weeknights on 10.
So welcome back to what is going to be an enthralling final stage of the Jayco Herald Sun Tour. After 700 kilometres, the final will be staged around the streets of Carlton. Let's now go to our commentators who are going to bring you all the action. David McKenzie, Matt Keenan and David Colberts.
Thank you, Ian. What a finale we have here on Lygon Street. It's such a tantalising prospect what we have in store. 80 minutes plus 3 laps and the champion is going to be decided on the final day. It's only happened twice in the last 10 years in the Tour. And talking to all the cycling aficionados, I've got 2 of them with me. There are the riders on the start line, Matthew Keenan and David McKenzie. They can't remember a finish like this to a Tour, not in Melbourne, not in Victoria, Australia, but in the world. It's amazing.
It is absolutely phenomenal. Last week, I was looking forward to this stage so as we could see Robbie McEwen in action. Well, now, Robbie McEwen has got the responsibility to look after the man in the middle of the screen, Simon Gerrans.
Well, David McKenzie's a man who's won 11 stages of the Herald Sun Tour. He's ridden on the streets here a minute to go. It's an exciting finale.
It is an exciting finale. We said a couple of nights ago, wouldn't it be great if they stayed at that 11-second buffer between the 4? Now it's down to 6 seconds. No one could have predicted this. It is incredible.
There's Simon Gerrans, the defending champion, 26 years of age from Victoria. He won the Tour Down Under in January. He rode the Tour de France this year, missed the Commonwealth Games due to a shoulder injury, so gets the chance to ride at home again and ride for the glory here today, trying to become just the 4th man ever to defend his title, the first in 32 years. He's got the Jayco teammates all around him. Matthew Wilson on the right-hand side just leaning up against the fence. We're not too far away from a start. And Chris Yongaward, we saw him earlier. He's very nervous, the savings and loans rider. What a stage it is for him. He's represented Australia in mountain bike competition at the Commonwealth Games, but he's got a chance to make his mark on the road here today.
3, 2, 1.
So the Lord Mayor John So gets them underway after 700 kilometres, 19 hours in the saddle. Just 6 seconds separates the top 4 riders. It's an amazing finish. 80 minutes plus 3 laps will decide this year's Tour.
And it's a tenacious start already. We see the Giant Asia team trying to make an impression on the race earlier on the piece. They've got David McCann, the rider from Northern Ireland, who's sitting in 2nd position in the overall classification, just 1 second behind. This is Tobias Erler, his teammate, who is one of the fastest sprinters on the Tour. He's in 2nd place in the sprint classification behind Hilton Clark. He's got an important role to play as a teammate today.
He has got an important role to play. I had a quick chat to him before the start earlier today. He was a little bit nervous, and he said, look, it might not be a case of trying to help Dave McCann. It might more so be a case of going for the sprints myself, because he doesn't really think McCann's up to the challenge. Look at the gap here already, and McCann is in that front group.
Well, McCann, third last year, and he picked up 5th place in its individual time trial at the Commonwealth Games earlier on in March. He's the rider in the white on the right-hand side of the screen. He is the Irish national champion, as Tobias Earler is really applying some pressure at the front with Michael Ford from the SouthAustralia.com team trying to get on terms. Hilton Clark in green.
He's there as well, Hilton Clark. He won this stage last year, and the big German Tobias Earler, he's got such a engaging personality. He's an electrician, wants to be a beekeeper. He lives just near Salzburg. It was the venue for the World Championships just 3 weeks ago, and he's going to do a power of work today for his man David McCann.
Small group off the front already, one rider missing, and that is Phil Zajcek, who was at 6 seconds off the pace in the general classification. If he's to stand any chance of winning the Tour, he has to watch the yellow jersey in Chris Yongerwood, and he has to watch Simon Gerrans as well.
That's right. The other 3 riders have made it there, so I know Phil Zajcek. I raced with him on the Navigators insurance team. Look, he's a great rider, and he's won a few big tours before, but this is not the type of circuit he wants. He would rather go up a mountain today, absolutely.
They swing into Lygon Street for the first time. It's 300 metres from the turnaround at the bottom to the finish line, and it's slightly uphill, so that will test them. 2 intermediate sprints today at 25 minutes and at 50 minutes, and there's precious seconds on offer. 3 seconds, 2 and 1 for the top 3 in the intermediate sprints, and that could well decide the Tour. We get down to the stage win. It's 10-second bonus if you can take out the stage. So all told, there's 16 seconds on offer on the road today.
And here is the man in the green jersey, the Portfolio Partners leader in the sprint competition, Hilton Clark. Well, he's the teammate of Phil Zajcek on the Navigators team, who hasn't made it into that breakaway as the Health Net rider, and Carl Menzies, one of the early yellow jerseys from the Tour, is trying to get his way across. Former winner in Lygon Street.
Just take us through the course here, David McKenzie. You know these streets very well as they turn left into Dorrit Street. It's a tricky little section as they come. It's like a laneway. It's plenty of width on the road, but this is particularly dangerous here.
It is dangerous. Look at that little S-bend. That's only about 30 metres in length. In the support race earlier, the guys said there were 3 or 4 crashes. So, and imagine, coming into the first sprint and the second sprint in the final, that is going to be a really, dodgy part of the course. And this is where the gaps can open up, as we're already seeing. It's just, there is no chance to move up there.
Are you surprised at what we're seeing? Firstly, that Phil Zajcek's not there. That's a huge blunder from the American if he wants to have any chance whatsoever of taking out this victory here today. But this margin is starting to grow rapidly.
It is. I'm very surprised. And look, Hilton Clark on the front, he really shouldn't be doing that. He should be sitting on the back, holding the gate, so to speak. There's Zajcek. I've just spotted him. He's in about 5th wheel. He's indecisive, really. I'm not sure what he can do. If he jumps across, he's only burning up, wasted energy. But he's got to get there. They've got to try and close this down very quickly.
This is Tony Mann on the front of the main peloton. He's a teammate of Simon Gerrans. He'd be pretty happy with the situation as it stands at these very early stages, with Simon Gerrans having got himself into this elite group. These are the big contenders of the Tour. Matt Wilson it is that is at the front of that group, Simon's teammate, and also Trent Wilson has got himself up there as well, who after 7 years got himself a stage win in the Jayco Herald Sun Tour on the roads into Nagambie.
Yeah, it was wonderful to see plenty of emotion out on the road, and the likes of Robbie McEwen, Henk Vogels, who was in the Jayco Australian team. He pulled out 2 days ago on the way up Black Mountain, and Simon Gerrans all rushing to congratulate Trent Wilson. Good situation for Chris Yongerwood here. He's almost a proxy member of the Australian team. He's doing his turn in front, but he's got those quality riders around him, and he can just latch onto them like a leech and say, I'll just follow you to the finish.
I think this is pretty good for Chris Yongerwood. Okay, he's outnumbered. The Jayco Australia guys are there, but all he's got to do is follow Gerrans. He's only got to follow one rider, and it's a lot easier to follow him in a group of about 10 rather than a group of 90.
In his advantage as well, I've just spotted Brett Aiken has made it into this group, so he has got a teammate. He is outnumbered because the Jayco Australian national team have got 4 riders in the breakaway. In at 5 riders, as Robbie McEwen is up there as well. I missed him earlier on, but McEwen is in this break also. So it's going to come down to a real battle between Yongerwood and Gerrans when we get to the first intermediate sprint at 25 minutes covered.
Well, moving chess is cycling for newcomers to the sport. They are working for teams, even though we've got 4 riders battling for the individual honours here. Chris Yongerwood, the South Australian Australian takes the lead into this final stage, just 1 second ahead of Simon Gerrans and the Irishman David McCann and Phil Zajac, who's not in this lead group. He is 6 seconds in arrears of Yongaward, but they've got their team to support David McKenzie, and it's so important that they work out their tactics. All of these moves would have been discussed this morning. Phil Zajac was obviously asleep on the line when they took off, but they are working for their main riders and trying to get them across the line today.
Absolutely, and here you see Kieran Power, the Irishman. I raced with him also for a couple of years. I know Kieran well. He will be giving it everything now to try and close this gap back. Look at the peloton there as they come out of that last corner. Single file. That's what I mean. Once they go into those last few laps or going into the sprint finish, if you're further back than 10th wheel, you will have no hope of moving up to go for these points. So that's where those top four, they have to be no further back than top 10.
Well, Phil Zajac hasn't managed to achieve that as he has missed the breakaway. He sits in 4th place in the overall classification, 6 seconds behind. We've seen the right-hand side of the screen there. It looks like it was Carl Menzies possibly that has surrendered. He tried to get across. The rider in the red colours there, that is Mitch Docker, who sits in 10th place in the overall classification. In the white jersey, in second wheel, is Trent Lowe. He's wearing the white jersey as the leader in the Make It Happen in Provincial Victoria Under-23 competition, but he's also a teammate of Simon Gerrans. And on the race up to the top of Lake Mountain, Trent Lowe was absolutely brilliant in sacrificing his own chances for Simon Gerrans, but the pressure at the front is extraordinary, and the main field are strung out in single file trying to get back in contact with them.
Yeah, absolutely, and as you said, Trent Lowe did a brilliant ride up the mountain. Look, he's very young. He's still really doing his apprenticeship, but it was a true trophy. He sat on the bottom, on the front at the bottom of the climb, and they really only overtook him in the last 1 or 2 kilometres.
So 13 seconds is the split to the lead, from the lead group to this bunch here. As they come back at the bottom of Dorrance Street, they take the right-hander into Grattan and then straight into the left-hander at Cardigan Street. For those that know the streets of Melbourne, got an indication before of the pace that they were going at. The look on Trent Wilson's face as they came down. There's Robbie McEwen. He's in the Davitamon Lotto Nix and the Jayco Australia top. He's going to work very hard for Simon Gerrans today as Trent Wilson leads them around the corner.
In fact, the Savings and Loans teammate that Chris Yongaward has got up there with him is Stephen Cunningham, 35 years of age. He's in his 7th Herald Sun Tour, and he was a teammate of Patrick Yonker when Patrick Yonker won the Tour Down Under. He was the team manager for the Savings and Loans team this year.
So no Brett Aitken in this lead group, which is important for Chris Yongaward, because the other interesting thing that we've got into the mix here today is normally you'd come down to the final stage of a tour like this and we'd all be looking for the likes of Robbie McEwen, Brett Aitken, the Olympic champion, Tobias Earler's got a fierce finishing kick on him, and Hilton Clark, who won this stage last year. Now they're working for everybody else. Chris Yongaward just on the microphone back to the team car saying, where is Brett Aitken? I want him up here and I want him up here now.
Absolutely. I mean, he is his right-hand man. He's the most important rider to Chris Yongaward today. Yes, he's had a strong team all week, but realistically, Aitken, he's a star track rider. He's fast and he really needs him here. And these guys know this. They're not hanging around.
Well, it is a team's pursuit. We have the Jayco Australian national team at the front of the field driving the pace for Simon Gerrans, who sits just behind Robbie McEwen. But as we've got a shot back to the main peloton, which is the entire Navigators team that have got themselves on the front, with the exception of Hilton Clark, who's now gone to the back of this leading group just to not contribute to it at all, because he needs his teammate Phil Zajac to be up the front. Here they are led by Mark Walters, the Canadian, on the American Navigators team.
So Simon Gerrans, before having a really good look around, just assessing the situation. If the race finished now, if we're sprinting to the line, Simon Gerrans is in a very good spot having all those Australians around him. Although it was interesting, Chris Yongaward before the start of the race saying, well, I'm pretty confident if it comes down to a bunch gallop, my legs are feeling pretty good.
Absolutely, and look, I've seen Chris race this year domestically in Australia, but the funny thing is he's got the least amount of experience out of all of them.
What's he doing? Simon Gerrans is very agitated in this lead group. He's having a big look over the shoulder on a regular basis.
Well, he's got Chris Yongaward sitting very tightly tucked on his wheel, and wherever Simon Gerrans goes, he can expect to see Chris Yongaward with him. He continues to look over his shoulder, and it is an interesting conversation.
Hilton Clark looking very concerned too. He's having a good look around. He's the 4th rider at the back of this group. He's got the green Sprinters jersey, the Portfolio Partners Sprint Classification winner at the moment, and he's having a good look around as well, because he wants his teammates up there in a hurry. This is an amazing start. The pace is on. They're strung out at the front. They're strung out at the back.
They are, and I think Hilton mustn't have realised early on that Phil wasn't there. He started riding, and I don't think any of these guys could have predicted the start here. No one would have expected this to go away. It's happened. I can't believe Zajac's missed it, but let's not forget Dave McCann. I don't think I wouldn't have given him a chance this morning. He's not the best bike handler. I watched him in the time trial yesterday. He really took the corners with caution. This is the best scenario for him. I'm not saying he's going to beat Gerrans or Yongaward, but it is the best scenario for McCann.
He's glued to the wheel, isn't he, Chris Yongaward? He's on the microphone again. What is going on? Well, you've just got to remain calm in these sort of situations. There's one thing going up a hill on the mountain bike at the Commonwealth Games when you're man against man. This is a different situation. You've got the teams here, you've got the tactics, you've got the streets, you've got the wind, you've got all of those permutations that add up to making it harder than Chinese algebra if you're Chris Yongaward.
Well, things could completely change after the first intermediate sprint that comes at 25 minutes raced. 3-second time bonus for the winner, 2 for second place and 1 for third. So if Simon Gerrans' Yongaward continues to look over his shoulder, a shake of the head, you said it before, Brett Aiken, please bring me Brett Aiken, because Aiken, Olympic Games gold medalist on the track in 2000 in the Madison alongside Scott McGorry, could play a very important role for him.
Well, perhaps he can ask one of the waiters along Lygon Street as he goes to the radio again. Please deliver me an Olympic champion to the front. Do it in a hurry. He's still shaking his head as he goes past the team vehicles. He's getting more and more agitated though, because he just has to remain calm. He's in a good situation, work with the other Australian riders, and he could be okay.
He does, but he has to beat Gerrans in this first sprint, because if Gerrans beats him, they will go on the attack, Gerrans' teammates that is, and they will try and shut the race down. So he has to beat him in this first sprint.
Main peloton is all strung out, clearly under the pressure of the Navigators team, because for Phil Zychek, if he's to stand any chance of winning the Tour, he has to get across to that leading group, which has been driven by the Jayco Australian national team of Simon Gerrans.
So, what an opening. Just a little over 13 minutes into the race, and the lead group are away. Simon Gerrans is there, David McCann is there, Chris Yongaward is there. The first intermediate sprint coming up shortly.
Live 7:30 Tuesday, an Idol world first. The judges have had a taste of it.
I just think that was one of the best songs I've ever heard.
Now, for the first time on television, the Idols get to perform their own songs or arrangements, how they want to be heard.
It's raw and revealing.
No judges, no voting.
Just the songs they've been dying to sing for you.
Live on the Idol stage, up close and personal, 7:30 Tuesday.
Hit the road in a Jayco camper trailer. Hit the road in a pop-up or caravan. Australia, you're in Jayco country. Jayco! From the great outback along the highway, from the snowy to the great ocean road, ballooning in the Yarra Valley, Jayco so easily towed. Hit the road today with Jayco's comfort. Hit the road with Jayco's quality. Australia, you're in Jayco country.
Shape up for summer with Amart All Sports Health Equipment Sale. For a limited time, get 4 years interest-free on the latest fitness gear. Quality treadmills from $8.99 and these $800 off. Save 25% on selected exercise bikes and weight benches. No deposit, no interest until 2010 on Australia's best deals. TV treadmills, save $500. Gym balls, half price. Plus heart rate monitors, cross trainers and boxing. Hurry, limited time, only at Amart All Sports, Australia's #1 sports discounter.
If you recognise the signs of stroke, act fast. Can the person smile? Has their mouth or eye drooped? Can the person raise both arms? Can the person speak clearly and understand what you say? If you recognise these signs of stroke, it's time to act fast. Seek immediate medical attention. Remember, face, arm, speech, time, and live.
Cocky, your missus will love laying her eggs in this pad. All 600 or 700 of them.
Now's the time pests are looking for a house to breed in.
Say hello to your new home.
Stop pests with a combination of Mortein Professional Outdoors and Mortein Easy Reach Indoors. In store now.
More smart, more safe, Mortein. We're Melbourne's largest furniture clearance retailer. Just a second. Don't miss the new outdoor furniture clearance. Aluminium 9-piece square set just $9.99. 3-piece bar set just $2.99. Hardwood 9-piece square set just $9.99. 9-piece director chair set just $6.49. You'll love the quality at just a second. You'll count the savings at just a second. Just see it, buy it and take it away. Hurry in, limited stock at Cheltenham, Kilsyth and Hoppers Crossing. Just a second furniture clearance.
Welcome back to the streets of Lygon Street for the final stage of the 2006 Jayco Herald Sun Tour. This is the lead group now back to the peloton. 17 seconds is the break. And no sign of Phil Zajacek. Chris Jongerward is the leader in the tour. He's been agitated. We saw David McCann a little earlier. He was screaming instructions to his team at the side. This is the peloton. And there's the leaders, and it's Trent Wilson, the man who won the stage into Nagambie, who leads them up.
Well, this is playing perfectly into the hands of the Jayco Australian national team. The gap you see there is 17 seconds from the 12 leaders back to the main peloton, which has been driven by the Navigators team. This is Kieran Powell, the Irishman, who was on the team of Phil Zajacek. He's also got an Australian on there in Ben Brooks doing some work for him. But Hilton Clark, he's a teammate of Phil Zajacek, and he's in that leading group. He's in the green jersey of Portfolio Partners as the leading sprinter. He appeared to be doing a few turns at the front as well. Maybe a little bit earlier on in the piece he didn't realise that Zajacek was there, or he could have indeed been going to the front to just do a false turn of pace and maybe slow things down a little bit.
I don't think so. I mean, you know, it genuinely looked like he was working. He shouldn't be doing it at all. He should be sitting on the back, as I said earlier, holding the gate. But the Navigators, boys, they're not organised. There's two on the front. There's McCann still having words there. He's not happy at all.
That was the commissaire, the mobile commissaire, who was riding alongside David McCann there. And, well, what could he possibly be talking about? Perhaps, well, I'm not sure, Matthew. You tell me.
I'll have a guess. In third wheel is David Kemp, riding for the Australian under-23 team. And McCann probably figures as Zach Dempster, it just rejoins the main peloton. He's had a mechanical problem. He's entitled to get a lap out and go back into the main field as the Navigators continue to apply the pressure at the front. But possibly it could have been that David McCann was not happy with the fact that David Kemp was contributing at the front of the main field. He's not a teammate of the Jayco Australian national team, and he might have been suggesting that he was colluding with them.
Absolutely, that's right, and they want a clean-cut race here. But notice here, this is Zajacek on the front himself. He's been forced now to come to the front. It's all wrong. It is all wrong because he gets across here. It doesn't matter. He's got the amount of energy he's expending there on the front. And he's to cross a 17-second gap. You don't just do it in 300 metres. It takes a good lap and a half.
Well, this is the difference between the stage race and the criteriums when they've already ridden for 700 kilometres. 2 days ago, it was 34 degrees in the air temperature, and on the road it was about 50. And the northerly wind that blew in their faces for a long way between Benalla and Lake Mountain just singed the lungs. And you've got to have the legs on the final day. And for Phil Zajacek, his Navigators teammates, they've run out of gas.
If you were Chris Younger with David McKenzie in this position, and you're in that leading group of 12, and Simon Gerrans is in there, and he's got virtually his entire team up there with him, including Robbie McEwen, would you prefer to see the main peloton come back so as you can try and get yourself mixed up in a little bit of traffic and get away from Simon Gerrans, or would you back yourself and think that you can take him on head-to-head, even though he's got McEwen wearing number 2 in support?
I'd back myself, absolutely, because at the end of the day, he's only got to beat one person, and that's Simon Gerrans. And as I said earlier, if he's trying to follow his wheel in a bunch of a peloton of 90 riders, it's a lot harder. He's a very handy bike rider. Let's not make no mistake about it. He knows how to ride criteriums, this guy. He comes from a mountain bike background, so he really knows how to handle himself well, possibly better than Simon Gerrans in a situation like this. So, you know, I think as long as he gets the instructions from his team manager, Patrick Yonker, who's a very experienced ex-professional rider, finished 12th in the Tour de France, I think he's got the best chance.
We see the 41-year-old Canadian at the front of the field there in the Bicycle Superstore colours, Eric Wahlberg. He's been out to the Tour on a number of occasions. He's managed to pick up a few stages as David Kemp from the Australian under-23 team continues to apply the pressure. He was in the break on the first day into Shepparton, which was won by Hilton Clark. Kemp finished in 6th place on that occasion. But now he's pretty keen to help this breakaway get away, and Simon Gerrans, it all works into his favour.
Trent Lowett is on the front. He's got the Make It Happen in Provincial Victoria best under 23 rider. Talented man, rides for the former Lance Armstrong team, Discovery Channel. Now Trent Wilson takes over. And Gerrans is right there. He's at fourth wheel at the moment, followed by Chris Yongaward. We've got about 4 minutes to the first of the intermediate sprints. There's the time, 20 minutes in, so 25 minutes. The first intermediate sprint will get the whistle, and that will mean they're on the lap of the sprint as Gerrans has another look over. It looks like they're dragging this breakaway back in slightly.
Well, this is Zach Dempster at the front of the field. One of the under-23 riders with the Australian team, doing a good turn of pace at the front. He was the rider that had the mechanical problem a little bit earlier on. Phil Zychek would be happy for the support up the front there. Simon Gerrans looks fairly anxious, continues to look over the shoulder to see what's happening behind. But Ben Brooks just got the foot out there as he was going around the corner. Fortunately for him, he managed to keep it upright.
It's a tight course, this one, very tight, but you know, look, it is. I think Simon Gerrans, he'll be nervous. I mean, you know, he's done 2 Tour de France's. He's had a lot of experience racing in Europe, but he'll be nervous, absolutely. He knows what Chris Yongaward's capable of. And again, David McCann, we cannot discount him. He could come over the top of both of them. So, but this sprint, we will see this at 60 kilometres an hour.
Well, Robbie McEwen, he's in 4th or 5th wheel at the moment. He's the first of the green jerseys, the Jayco Australian green and gold colours. He's in 5th wheel at the moment. He's perfectly poised. He knows what he's doing on a bike, doesn't he, Robbie McEwen? Right in front of Simon Gerrans, and then Chris Yongaward right behind him. So he's well placed. Yongaward, there's a crash at the back of the lead group.
Mitch Docker has gone down. Hilton Clark has gone down in the green jersey. He's walking away. So too has Michael Ford, the South Australia.com colours, and Stephen Cunningham, the teammate of Chris Yongaward. So that is bad news for Chris Yongaward. Fortunately, these riders on a circuit race will get a lap out.
Well, Michael Ford's had huge problems, and it was Docker that went crashing into the barriers, and the rest were all over. Docker was off the seat, and Michael Ford, the young man from the South Australia.com team, just 20 years of age, had a huge gash on the forehead. So the race continues up front. They've lost a few from this lead group, and importantly for Chris Yongaward, he's now isolated.
Well, it hasn't changed the rhythm at the front. Trent Lowe in the white jersey is the best under-23 rider, but a teammate of Simon Gerrans on the Jayco National Australian team. They just ignore what's happened behind and continue to apply the pressure.
They hear the crash and they go harder. And so the other thing, 16, 17 second gap, that would have disrupted the peloton. They come around the corner, they see riders all over the road, it just disrupts their rhythm.
Now those riders that were involved in that crash can have a lap out and they can get back into the race. It looked like the way a lot of them were getting up, they're not going to play too much more of a role in this race.
Don't underestimate them. They're made of rubber. They could bounce back. David Kemp continues at the front of the main field. Those riders that crashed are going to need to get back in with this group this next lap round, as we surely can't be far away from the intermediate sprint.
There's the whistle. So they're on the intermediate sprint lap now. So when they come back around, we've got bonus seconds on offer. It's 3, 2 and 1 is the bonus situation for the riders as they cross the line when they come back under the start-finish line again. Let's see what unfolds here. The Jayco Australian team, it's Matt Wilson on the front.
Tobias Erler at the rear there. He's a fairly crafty rider. We saw him almost come over the top of Clark, so he's going to be going for it.
As they're making their way around the corner here, you just saw Chris Yongaward in the leader's yellow jersey just try and flick David Kemp out of the way. He's not impressed with the way David Kemp is riding on this stage. Well, they're lined up. Simon Gerrans on the wheel of Robbie McEwen, and then you've got Chris Yongaward on Gerrans' wheel, and then in the white of the Irish National Champions colours is David McCann. 1 second separates these three riders. 3 seconds up for grabs for the winner of the sprint, 2 for second place, and 1 second for third. So we could see a change of the yellow jersey as it stands on the road by the time we get through this sprint.
Well, Trent Lowe's in the white colour of the under-23 jersey, but the first 4 riders are all working for Simon Gerrans. They're all in the Jayco Australian team. They're all working for Simon Gerrans. Robbie McEwen just in front of him, and Chris Yongaward, he's on the left-hand side of the screen at the moment in the yellow jersey, right behind Simon Gerrans.
They're going to be flying here. These other guys, though, they've got to stay out of this, I think. It's a gentleman's agreement. The other guys that don't count for the overall classification, they don't get anything out of this sprint, they should stay out of this.
Cunningham's let back in, but now he just drops back to the rear of this group as they start to get a little agitated. They come around this corner. They've got 300 metres to the start-finish line. The first of the intermediate sprints coming up here, and they come into the straight. And let's have a look here. Where is Chris Yongaward? He moves out. He follows Gerrans. He goes by him. Yongaward's in front, just pauses momentarily. We've got the head-on shot here, and Robbie McEwen leading out Gerrans and Yongaward. I reckon Yongaward might get this. It's getting very close. Robbie McEwen's all over the road. Yongaward, has he got it? I reckon he has. He might have taken the entire lead. Well, Chris Yongaward, and they are remonstrating. This is fiery in the streets of Melbourne. Unbelievable scenes.
This is incredible. And look at Yongaward, he's on the attack. But so this is where his inexperience comes into it. He should be sitting back there. He doesn't want to leave himself open, but he did that perfectly.
The question is, did he take out the sprint in its entirety?
Well, that's David McCann. He's irrelevant. He was out of the time bonuses. What we want to look to see was Robbie McEwen, Chris Yongaward and Simon Gerrans. McEwen, as he was coming to the line, was looking to get Gerrans over the top so as he could get the 3-second bonus. Then he saw that Yongaward was come at him, so he kicked again, and there was a whole lot of left and right. Who said it's not a contact sport?
Well, it's fiery, there's no doubt about that. I reckon Yongaward, well, he certainly beat Gerrans.
Yes, he did.
Certainly beat Gerrans across the line. The question is, did he beat Robbie McEwen across the line? In which case, McEwen has impeded the progress of Simon Gerrans because he'll take second place in the 2-second time bonus, which is irrelevant for Robbie McEwen. He can't win the tour. Here we go. Just missed it again.
I think Robbie McEwen got it from Chris Yongaward and then Simon Gerrans, which means that Chris Yongaward would now have a 2-second lead. We will wait for confirmation, but by my reckoning, it's a 2-second lead. A little bit of a conversation between first and second, the overall classification.
Just getting some news from out in the course that Robbie McEwen has been relegated in the sprint. So here's the photo finish as they come across the line. So McEwen gets that, but news from out in the course is that he's moved off his line and he's been relegated in the sprint. That will mean that Yongaward takes 3 seconds, Gerrans 2 seconds, and then we'd have to go back to the fourth rider across the line for the 1-second bonus.
So therefore, that sprint in terms of where Robbie McEwen finished didn't change the result for the overall classification. It's now a 2-second lead for Chris Yongaward in the overall classification, and David McCann is still well and truly within contact as well. He'll be at either 3 seconds or 4 seconds.
Absolutely, and let's just remember, did you notice after the sprint there, they're giving it everything. It's 100%. This is the bike race. So they sit up, the peloton is still chasing, so they're bringing them back. McCann not happy. He's still not happy. He is ropeable.
Well, if you think of going anywhere in the next 40 minutes or so, revise your plans, because this is one of the most amazing finishes to a bike race we've ever seen in Australia. 55 years the Jayco Herald Sun Tour has been in operation, but anywhere you go around the world, the cycling aficionados on the side of the course and watching us here live on Channel 10 around Australia will be licking their lips, because this is fantastic stuff. Hilton Clark is back in the action after his crash. The pace has gone off after the helter-skelter beginning.
Well, my rough calculations on the general classifications, Chris Yongaward is still in yellow, having won that intermediate sprint. Simon Gerrans is at 2 seconds, and the Irishman David McCann is at 3 seconds. The peloton 15 seconds off the pace. Sidecheck looks to be out of it at this stage.
Well, I'm not sure if they'll be enjoying a lager with each other after this race this afternoon. There's been plenty of action, discussion, and what a stage we have set here in Lygon Street.
Celebrities. They dance, they sing, they fall on the ice.
But can they play poker?
Find out as big stars play for big laughs in the brand new series where it's gloves off and anything goes. Over the next few weeks, join these two cards and a galaxy of stars as they try their hand at the latest entertainment sensation sweeping the planet. The brand new series, Celebrity Joker Poker, premieres 8:30 Tuesday.
Hit the road in a Jayco camper trailer. Hit the road in a pop-up or caravan. Australia, you're in Jayco country. Jayco! From the great outback along the highway, from the snowy to the great ocean road, ballooning in the Yarra Valley, Jayco so easily towed. Hit the road today with Jayco's comfort. Hit the road with Jayco's quality. Australia, you're in Jayco country.
Hello. Some people find it difficult to know where and when to buy the right tickets for public transport. We suggest you look for the big blue Metcard sign. And remember, buying a ticket before you get on board saves time or problems later. Or the catchy new ticket buying acronym, BATBIGOBSTOPPLE. So, say BATBIGOBSTOPPLE and look for the big blue Metcard sign.
Weekends are just a busy time. Everyone's got their little odd jobs to do. The wives have the list. The list's on the fridge, and let's get that list down. Help us. Help me, please.
Pack of 2 folding sawhorses, $34.90. 4-burner split grill barbecue, $129. 7-piece Piazza setting, $299. 4-litre Cabot's natural decking oil, $49. Hills pressure pump sprayer, $17.96.
And that's what I love about the job as well.
Bunnings Warehouse.
Lowest prices are just the beginning.
Thanks for choosing Dell. What can we build for you?
I need a new computer.
What'll you use it for most?
A bit of video editing, going
At Dell, we don't build technology for just anyone. Dell, uniquely you. This Inspiron 6400 features Intel's super-fast Core 2 Duo processor. Buy online and build it from just $1,249 delivered. So go online now or call 13 35 53.
This spring property tip brought to you by Rams Home Loans.
One of the toughest choices you'll make when selling your house is deciding which agent to use. Ideally, you should speak to 3 agents and ask them to value your home and to provide a detailed analysis to justify their price expectation. Compare what each wants to charge as commission and ask them to justify their fee. It also pays to get references from previous vendors or to visit agents at open houses to watch them in action.
This spring property tip was brought to you by Rams Home Loans.
Welcome back to an exciting final stage of the 2006 Jayco Herald Sun Tour, and that is an understatement because the lead is with Chris Yongaward. He's 2 seconds ahead of Simon Gerrans. The Irishman David McCann is in 3rd spot, and the American Phil Zajac is 9 seconds behind the defending champion. Simon Gerrans was involved in an interesting sprint with his teammate Robbie McEwen. Yongaward took it out. He looked like he had the best legs, and the peloton are chasing them down. They were only 11 seconds behind as they went under the start-finish banner.
There's Tobias Erler, giant Asia rider, teammate of Dave McCann. I'm not sure what he's doing here. If I was Erler, I'd be sticking close to McCann. He can still help him. Maybe he's trying to get the gap back out, but it's just not happening.
So he's off the front of the lead, Tobias Erler, so he's the leading rider on the road at the moment, but the tour leader is Chris Yongaward. He's back in the bunch. He's got the yellow jersey on, just taking a drink at the moment. There's been so much remonstrations. Hilton Clark returned after being involved in that crash, and he had some words with Robbie McEwen. David McCann, virtually every time they've gone under the start-finish banner, has been having a word with the commissaires on the stage. Chris Yongaward hasn't got off the radio the entire race as he's been talking back to his team as the Latrobe City Japan boys go underneath the banner.
Well, that's a group that have been dropped off the main peloton as it is all coming back together again. So this does put Phil Zajac back into calculation, but with him at 9 seconds off the yellow jersey of Chris Yongaward, I don't think he's capable of winning it, but we could be proven wrong. Simon Gerrans and the Jayco Australian national team, they appeared once Simon Gerrans lost that sprint to Yongaward that they were happy to go back in the main peloton and try and get mixed up in a little bit of traffic to get away from Chris Yongaward again, because head-to-head it looks like Yongaward is stronger than Simon Gerrans.
Absolutely. But look, I think they really blew that first sprint. McEwen should have been on the gas coming out of the last corner. It's only 300 metres from the last corner to the finish line. He should have been going for it.
Headwind too, and I was impressed with Chris Yongaward. We saw the perfect shot from the helicopter. He moved out to the left-hand side and went bang. He went straight past Simon Gerrans, and I reckon that would ensure that the team tactics of the Jayco team will be under immense revision.
We saw Simon Gerrans throughout that breakaway group as it now is absolutely all back together with Matt Wilson at the front. He looked very nervous. He was on the microphone a lot. He was looking back, seeing what was happening behind him, and now we know why. He figures that Yongaward is going to be really difficult to beat. As Tobias Erler, one of the riders that has really entertained us throughout the race, is still off the front.
Big pack now, and we saw what can happen on a pretty innocuous turn as they leave Lygon Street the first time, but it makes life a little bit more difficult if you're in the middle of that group. You've got to be up the front. The Jayco boys, as we know, Robbie McEwen, he knows what he's doing. Stay out of trouble if you can. They have to be up the front. Make sure you're safe.
Absolutely, and this is where Yongaward, his inexperience, could come into play. Gerrans is used to riding in fields of over 200 in Europe, so this is a piece of cake for him. Yongaward handles himself well in criteriums, but if they want to try and lose him in traffic, they might do it.
Having said that, of course, Chris Yongaward is used to dodging trees on the mountain bike circuit and rocks, so I'm sure his bike handling skills are absolutely superb, but it is a different situation. They do have to be careful, and they are getting tired because the pace has been on from the beginning.
This is David Tanner at the front of the main field, finished second into Benalla, his hometown. Of course, Benalla is the home of Baden Cook as well, who introduced David to cycling.
Well, we've been talking a lot about the tactics. Ian Cohen is down in the pits. He's with the Jayco Australia team manager, Dave Sanders.
Yeah, thanks very much, Dave. Dave Sanders, you've been up talking to the commissaires about that sprint. What's your latest understanding?
Yeah, it wasn't just a sprint, though. It was a bit of concern that the split in the group happened during or before the fall when Robbie went down, and whether he joined back in the right position. According to the commissaires, he's in the right place. He had a right to be in the front group. Then there was a situation of Robbie being relegated out of that sprint for deviating off his line.
Your radio's been barking for the last 10 minutes. What have the boys been saying, and what have you been saying to them?
Well, we were in pretty good position there. We had 4 up the road, including our main man. The tour leader and equal second place were also with us. So it really came down to that sprint because they're chasing second for second. Didn't work out the way we wanted. A bit disappointing. We really need to grab 2 seconds on Yongaward, and in fact we lost one. It ain't over yet, but it's not how we would have liked it.
Thanks, Dave. Back to you guys.
Well done, Ian Cohen and Dave Sanders, who tells it as it is. Didn't see Robbie McEwen go down in that fall, so we saw the savings and loans rider Steve Cunningham come back in, but Robbie McEwen obviously got back up virtually straight away.
It was from an earlier fall. What they were arguing, that there was a fall that we didn't see on camera, and Robbie McEwen was involved in that fall, and that the break formed at the time that fall happened. So when he rejoined the bike race, there was debate as to whether he should rejoin it in the breakaway or back in the main peloton, because if you have a mechanical or a crash on this sort of race, you can rejoin the field in the same position where you left off.
That's right. I mean, it does become very, very technical, just exactly how you said it. And, if that did happen, they'd have to send him back to the peloton, but they would have checked the cameras and made sure of it. So it still makes it very interesting. I think it's great that it's come back together now, because anything could happen here. Zajacek could suddenly come back into the fold.
He could, but I think it's unlikely, as the Jayco Australian national team are all at the front trying to control things. This is David Tanner at the front of the main field, followed closely by Tony Mann, who won the Tour of New Caledonia earlier on this year. And Chris Yongaward in the yellow jersey. His nerves, David McKenzie, I presume, they will have just settled a little bit, knowing that he's got the punch to contend with Simon Gerrans if they have to go head-to-head again.
That's right. That would have been a big confidence booster for Chris Yongaward. As I said, the first sprint was everything. You could hear Dave Sanders. He was disappointed.
Dave McCann did get third in that sprint. He was the 4th man across the line, taking out Robbie McEwen, who deviated from his line. So McCann gains an extra second, so he's still tied with Simon Gerrans. Or have I got that wrong? My mathematics is not the best, Matthew. I know you've been practicing this all week just for this situation.
David McCann is in 3rd place at 3 seconds. Because
very good. Those seconds, they get me every time.
They do, because he lost 2 seconds to Chris Yongaward that time through. Race situation as it stands right now, we see that Brett Aiken, who we spoke about earlier on, who's going to play an important role to look after Chris Yongaward, he's as crafty as anybody else on a bike. He is now back with Chris Yongaward. We'll see Yongaward staying near or around Simon Gerrans, but Brett Aiken will be with him the entire time. He has his savings and loans kit on, and they have black booties on his shoes as well if you want to try and pick him out.
Yongaward was just moving up there, and he just got himself out of position a little bit and raced up the inside to just make sure he's in the first 4 or 5.
That's right. He'd be a little bit nervous. He actually went up alongside Gerrans, almost in front of him, because he could see if he drops back behind that top 10, suddenly he'll get squeezed out of position, and you can really use too much energy, and again, wasted energy if you've got to try and fight to get back into the top 10.
40 minutes into the bike race, about 10 minutes to the next intermediate sprint. It's the same as the first in terms of the time bonuses, 3, 2 and 1 for those all-important seconds as we fight for the Tour title here on the streets of Lygon Street in Melbourne. Live action around Australia. It's been exciting so far. The pace has gone off a little bit as they just compose themselves after the dogfight in the first intermediate sprint.
And in addition to the second intermediate sprint, there's time bonuses up for the stage win as well, with 10 seconds up for grabs for the winner there. So it's likely that it's still going to come down to the final sprint as Zach Dempster and the Australian under-23 team applies the pressure at the front just to try and keep the pace high. This strings the field out and makes it a little bit safer for the main contenders.
We talked before, David, about final day decisions. I remember Tim Johnson, the American, won the Tour on the final day in 2003 over Luke Roberts, who led. We all thought he was going to take the Tour out. It was on the streets of Bunningon around Ballarat as the field's back together, and completely different situation to this. But in 1995, Andy Bishop on a wet day around Albert Park took the Tour title, and you were in a breakaway with Andy Bishop. He came in 17 seconds down, and he took the title from his US compatriot, not his teammate, but his US compatriot, who was very dirty indeed.
That was a extraordinary day. As you said, it poured rain. It was a lot smaller course than this, very dangerous in the wet. I was young and crazy. Hank Vogels and myself, we dragged Bishop around this course, lapped the field. As you said, 17 seconds down. No one would have thought it would happen. Suddenly he wins the Tour, but he won it comfortably. He didn't win it by like 2 seconds. I think he won it by 15 in the end.
Well, I can confirm that you have matured, but Hank Vogels is still crazy. He didn't quite make it to the finish line, but gee, we enjoy watching him ride. He's in the Jayco Australian team, and he'll be screaming at them on the sidelines, Hank Vogels, because he is the master at issuing the instructions.
They'll be missing him too, because he's brilliant at looking after a sprinter. Normally in Europe, he's a teammate of Robbie McEwen, and he has the job of looking after the team sprinter. This time it's Robbie McEwen, a role reversal, 3-time green jersey winner in the Tour de France, looking after Simon Gerrans. You can see him sitting in about 6th or 7th wheel. He's got the green helmet on, green nicks as well, just in front of Simon Gerrans as they make their way into Cardigan Street. I'm surprised there hasn't been a crash down that end of the circuit, David, because it's a tailwind down through that chicane as well. There's a little bit happening at the back as well, as Brett Aiken has got himself onto the wheel of Chris Yongerwood, and then behind Brett Aiken is another one of the Savings and Loans riders. It's the Australian National Road Champion in Russell Van Hout. So the Savings and Loans team of getting themselves organised.
How much chat, David, in the peloton here? How much talking are the riders of their own team doing? And we've seen David McCann and Hilton Clark doing plenty of discussion, but much discussion amongst the riders?
Oh, there'd be a bit. Look, it's pretty nervous going through the corners and then down the straight. If you're trying to talk to your teammate, the best place would be through the radio. They'd be all hooked up and they'd be wired up to their managers on the side of the course in the pit area. So there'd be a fair bit of discussion. But look, it's got to be calm and relaxed. They start screaming at each other, then the whole plan falls apart.
You see the main peloton making their way up the finishing straight. Still, Zach Dempster is at the front. He's been doing a lot of work. He'll be pretty happy with his performance throughout this tour. His debut in the Jayco Herald Sun Tour. The main peloton, we started with 87 riders as it really dwindled down, as many of them haven't been able to maintain the pace after 7 days racing. And at the back of the group there in the HLP King of the Mountains jersey was Matt Lloyd. This is David Tanner on screen, followed by Trent Lowe, the leader in the under-23 competition, Robbie McEwen, Simon Gerrans, Brett Aiken, just talking to the yellow jersey, and Chris Yongerwood.
It's interesting, isn't it? The positions haven't really changed there with Robbie McEwen, Gerrans and Yongerwood, and that's where Chris Yongerwood wants to stay until he gets to the next intermediate sprint. It's not too far away, it's about 6 minutes time, and they'll be fighting again for those precious little seconds that could well decide this tour. So, well, this has been a very, very exciting final stage of the 2006 Jayco Herald Sun Tour. Can Robbie McEwen deliver victory for Simon Gerrans, the defending champion? We'll find out as the race continues after this.
Let me tell you a story about 7 young boys who have a dream.
Okay, boys, we'll be starting from here. And that's where we want to end up.
Dream to make me fund their end of year trip.
Power Bus Road!
What are we going to give them? What do they have to do to get it? Find out this week, Road 5.
Hit the road in a Jayco camper trailer. Hit the road in a pop-up or caravan. Australia, you're in Jayco country. Jayco! From the great outback along the highway, from the snowy to the great ocean road. Ballooning in the Yarra Valley, Jayco so easily towed. Hit the road today with Jayco's comfort. Hit the road with Jayco's quality. Australia, you're in Jayco country. Jayco!
Duck Active Liquid with Stain Repellix helps ensure nasty stains can't get a grip. Sparkling clean, fragrant fresh. Duck Active Liquid.
Hey Dad, got any spare cash? Thanks.
Today's an even better day to start saving. Because now with 7 5-star ratings, the Commonwealth Bank has Australia's most highly awarded savings accounts.
And soon, you'll have a nice cover for that little plastic air freshener. See?
Glade Glass Scents give you continuous light fragrance for up to 30 days. The Glade Decorative Range, the air fresheners you don't have to cover up. How refreshing.
Hi, Trish. Looking for something bigger?
Yeah, if we can afford it.
Maybe we should have a chat.
That's another example of the Wizard why not attitude.
Wizard's new Clear Value Home Loan has a great rate and the essential features you need in a home loan. Plus, you'll get that great Wizard personal service for the life of your loan.
At Wizard, you'll find we say, why not?
Do you want to pay for sport you've always watched for free? Do you want your children to have to pay or just miss out?
Mark Scape's victory.
The right to free sport on TV is under attack. The greatest Australian sporting achievements should be free for all Australians to see, not just those who can afford pay TV.
For more information, visit savemysport.com.au.
It's too good to lose.
Authorised by Network 10 Sydney.
A warning to all future Rove Live guests.
This show and your humour does not compute.
I tripped over. Don't mess with the big man.
What a place to be. That was where the waiter came from to deliver Brett Aitken up to Chris Yongaward. He's back in business, the tour leader, as the group is all together. We're about 4 minutes away from the first or the second intermediate sprint as they come through. You can see the size of the peloton has reduced dramatically since the start of the race. Huge crowd here at Lygon Street. Ian Cohen is amongst the action. He's with the Lord Mayor of Melbourne, John So.
Yes, thanks very much, guys. And the Lord Mayor is with me. And Lord Mayor, what a fantastic day. The Herald Sun Tour, of course, an integral part of Melbourne.
Yes, Herald Sun Tour is one of the oldest and greatest cycling event in Australia. And this is a fantastic setting right in Lygon Street.
It's terrific to end right here. The crowd's been fantastic all day. You'd be loving that.
Oh, yes, we have a festivity here in Lygon Street where we have the Italian piazzas and waiters race is back on. There's so many community festival here.
And I know you like getting on the bike. What do you think of these riders, though?
Oh, they're terrific, aren't they?
Thanks very much for joining us. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Ian. Passionate supporter of everything in Melbourne is John So. He got a huge cheer when he walked out. We thought it was for Ian Cohen, but we were mistaken. It was for the Lord Mayor of Melbourne. And we're happy to be here for the final stage. Such a great setting, and couldn't have scripted better with the leading riders separated by just 6 seconds coming in. It's out to 9 now with Phil Zajcek, who we haven't really seen anything of, David McKenzie.
No, he missed that early move. He had to get on the front and chase on his own. That was crazy. That was actually, I thought, bad teamwork on behalf of Navigators. They really should have been organised. They should have known it was going to go out of the blocks at the start, and it should never have happened.
Well, we're not too far away from the next intermediate sprint. Chris Yongaward won the first one, and that's increased his lead by an extra second over the top of Simon Gerrans. 2 seconds to Simon Gerrans, the overall classification, 3 to David McCann. But we saw David McCann, the Irishman, in the green and white, make his way around the corner there in the individual time trial yesterday. His bike handling skills look questionable, and it'll be a disadvantage to him to be sprinting from the main peloton.
Let's see if we get the whistle here. They come up to 150 metres to the start-finish line. Commissaire's decision as to whether it will be the sprint. It is. So we've got the whistle. We're on the second intermediate sprint lap now, and the jockeying for position will begin.
It will begin. If Chris Yongaward can nail this one again, if he can nail this, it could be good night, Irene. It could be all over, and he could be having that yellow jersey on his back for keeps.
You're seeing them starting to scurry for wheels. David McCann in the white just getting knocked around a little bit as he's trying to make his way up the outside and get himself into a better position. Just in front of the yellow jersey of Chris Yongaward is Brett Aitken, who is on the back wheel of Simon Gerrans. So we'll look to see if Brett Aitken can move Yongaward up to the front. David McKenzie, before you said that Robert McEwen needed to be the one on the gas coming into that final corner for Simon Gerrans. It's a lot to happen in the next kilometre.
Oh, it's going to be great. I think we'll see McEwen and Aitken side by side. I think they both will have learned from that first sprint. They're going to have to be leading it out a lot faster indeed.
So David Tanner it is who's leading them around, the Australian under-23 team. Those that are into conspiracy theories could suggest that they are working for their senior teammates. They've been up there a lot. Now it's Trent Lowe who takes over, and then Matt Wilson, Trent Wilson, Robbie McEwen, and then Simon Gerrans right behind him. And as we have come to expect, Chris Jonkerwood right behind Simon Gerrans.
The Jayco Australian national team, they appear to have a lot more pace on now. This is Matt Wilson, former Australian national road champion. He's normally a teammate of Baden Cook, leads him out in the sprints, as Brett Aiken is getting involved, trying to take Chris Jonkerwood up. We're into the final corner, 300 metres to go.
Gerrans getting trailed off here, having a real fight with Jonkerwood as Wilson goes around the corner, almost went sideways, has a look around, and Jonkerwood's in the middle. So Wilson having a look around, McEwen, here goes Jonkerwood, he's in front, he's sprinting hard, Gerrans behind him, Jonkerwood's and Gerrans, they head to the line, Gerrans is going hard, Jonkerwood behind him, this is going to be very tight, Gerrans looks like he might be in front, they throw at the line, Gerrans has got it. Robbie McEwen celebrates, and maybe Brett Aitken got in the way and stole a precious second from Chris Jonkerwood.
If that is the case, I think Chris Jonkerwood may have finished fourth in that sprint, which would move Simon Gerrans into the yellow jersey by 1 second. We'll have to wait for confirmation from the judges.
Let's have a look here. So Gerrans gets it. What are you doing there, Brett Aitken? Put your hands on the brakes. Well, I reckon Jonkerwood got it. Well, Robbie McEwen was having a bit word to Brett Aitken.
Well, if Jonkerwood did get it, all level. Jonkerwood and Gerrans on equal time.
This is unbelievable. There was probably 2 tyre widths between the 3 of those guys, and Aitken, he nearly blew it for Jonkerwood. So I'll tell you what, it's going to come down to this finish sprint, and let's bringing into the fold now other guys who want to go for stage win. We couldn't care less about these intermediate sprints.
Well, we've still got seconds up for grabs for the final. The last sprint, 10 seconds up for grabs for the win, 6 for second and 4 for third.
Gerrans has made a statement there. He's made a big statement. He's on the radio back to Dave Sanders because Jonkerwood was in the perfect position. He might have gone a fraction early, but if you're Chris Jonkerwood, you're thinking, well, I covered Simon Gerrans so easily in the first sprint, I might try this a bit earlier and see how I go. And Gerrans responded, he did it easily. And have a look at them, we're all looking around here. And Robbie McEwen is saying, mate, what are you doing?
No, he's saying just keep doing that. It works in our favour. McEwen, he is known to have a word or two out in the bike.
Well, he had to throw the anchor overboard, didn't he? Brett Aitken, just to slow up in the final 10 metres there. Almost made a terrible mistake because Gerrans would have taken a 1 second lead. Although really, when you look at the final sprint, 10 seconds on offer for the stage win, 6 seconds for the second place and 4 for third. So if you're 1 second behind, it really doesn't make all that much difference. You've got to be...
Well, it could, because maybe we'll get 3 riders up the road that take all the time bonuses. So, I mean, every second counts. We've been racing for 7 days. We've covered almost 800 kilometres, and separating Simon Gerrans and Chris Jonkerwood, naught.
Unbelievable. I mean, what we've got to realise, and for the people out there, it is so hard to judge these sprints. You see even Robbie McEwen, he made a blue in the first sprint. Aitken made the mistake then. They are world-class athletes, but to try and time it right for your teammate, it's just really, really difficult.
Well, we've got one of the Health Net riders trying to get his way off the front. This could possibly be Kirk O.B. that's trying to get off the front. He's got David Tanner for company as well as making a move in the middle, trying to get across is Wesley Solzberger from the SouthAustralia.com team, one of the youngest riders in the tour.
Well, the interesting thing that you've pointed out, David, is that we now bring the guys who just want to get the stage victory. We've had 6 stages, 6 different winners so far, and so now that the situation at the top might be settled, we've got a breakaway. They're going to try and pinch the win, which would mean the first across the line. The countback situation is if they're tied after the race, we go back to the rider with the most stage wins, but we also take into account the fractions of a second registered by the timekeeper during the individual time trial.
So, which would probably work in the favour of Chris Jonkerwood, because Simon Gerrans was 12.19 seconds behind the winner Ben Day yesterday, and Chris Jonkerwood was 1 second flat behind Ben Day yesterday. But we'll have to confirm all that, but either way, I think it's fair to say it's reasonably close.
This is unbelievable. I mean, around the world, I don't think we have seen such a close finish. We could go down, as you said, into tenths or thousandths of the second. Can you believe it? We've had a mountaintop finish, an individual time trial, you think that would have sorted it out, and it's still going to come down to this final sprint.
More than 19 hours on the bike, and they are tied. They're on the same time exactly.
The three riders that are away. Salzberger from the SouthAustralia.com team, OB from HealthNet, and Tanner from the Australian Under-23 team. Interesting to see which team does all the chasing from behind, whether it's the Jayco Australian national team that are going to try and bring it back together, which is exactly what is happening at the moment. Trent Wilson at the front of the main field there, the man that won his first stage of a tour of the Jayco Herald Sun Tour after 7 attempts at the tour on the roads into Ngambie, where he managed to get over the top of Matthew Lloyd, who's going to go out the winner of the HLP Mortgage King of the Mountains competition. And next year, Lloyd will find himself as a teammate of Robbie McEwen and Cadell Evans. Trent Lowe in the white jersey, the under-23 leader going to the front as well. He's been brilliant this tour.
They've had a really great tour. You mentioned Wilson. I mean, he was just on the ball from the start of this bike race, making the breaks, and as you said, winning a stage. First one in 7 attempts, so it's been a great tour for these guys, but their job's not over yet. I think they were all hoping to have a nice cruisy race today, roll around and sprint finish and, enjoy it. But it is business. It is war. There is a war going on here in this bike race.
Well, it looks like it's all back together again. It is still Trent Lowe on the left-hand side of screen, and the white that is doing a lot of the work. The arm that keeps going up in the air is that of David McCann. He's trying to get a little bit of support. He's hoping to see the big German, his teammate Tobias Erler, come up alongside him.
Okay, I've just dived for the regulations. In the case of a tie in GC, fractions of a second registered by the timekeeper during the individual time trial shall be added back into the total time to decide the order, which means Chris Yongaward, who had the second fastest time yesterday of 15:46.60, he is faster than Simon Gerrans by just over a second. 15:57.97 was the time for Simon Gerrans yesterday. So that means if they cross the line in the bunch, Chris Yongaward will be the winner of the tour.
That's the interesting thing is, I wonder if these guys know this. I think what's happened Dave Sanders possibly has gone to the judges. He's tried to confirm what will happen. They will know they're on the same time. And now this is why you see the Jayco Australia team at the front. They realise they have to keep this together. They cannot let, those three riders that we saw before go off the front, because it's race over for Gerrans otherwise.
Well, it's all back together again. We're more than halfway through the race as the red colours of the Drapac Porsche team are launching an attack on the right-hand side of the screen. This could possibly be Darren Latthorne, who's managed to pick up a couple of placings throughout the tour. He finished in 3rd place on the stage into Ngambie, as Tony Mann is just controlling things at the front, pretty much ignoring Darren Latthorne and just worrying about Simon Gerrans at this stage.
That's right. They're just going to set a hard tempo. It's pointless trying to jump across the road onto the wheel of Latthorne. All it will do is disrupt their riding, their speed. If they just set tempo like this, we could just watch this now and this happen for the next 20 minutes. So, it's going to be very, very interesting indeed.
A lot more to come still here from Logon Street. It's going to play out fascinatingly over the last 20 minutes of this race. Chris Yongaward and Simon Gerrans, the defending champion, have the same time after more than 19 hours and 6 days on the bike. Stay with us. The concluding stage is still to come.
Racist attack. 3 people injured after being set upon by a gang of 20 men on a South Sydney beach. The federal government says it won't respond to threats from the Solomon Islands to kick out Australian troops. The UN agrees to impose non-military sanctions on North Korea. And legendary British band Deep Purple given a flowery reception in Kazakhstan.
This is Ned. He'd give anything to make his father proud of him.
Sorry, I missed breakfast this morning, so it's Nick's fault. Don't ask.
I don't believe you met either. The best plans in life are the ones you completely screw up.
Hey, it's only London.
From the creators of Sea Change and Cold Feet comes a world-class original series. Tripping Over premieres Wednesday, October 25.
Dad, why did they build the Great Wall of China?
That was during the time of Emperor Nazi Goring, and it was to keep the rabbits out. There's too many rabbits in China.
Give your kids the right answers with broadband access from just $14.97 a month for the first 12 months for eligible customers. For details, call 13POND or visit bigpond.com.
Superlatively sagacious and pungent fettuccine, tossed with a rich ragu of caramelized onion, bacon and wine, irreproachably simmered until the piquancy is mellowed and nuanced, then crowned with uniformly paradisecal discs of fava beans that inhabit a frangible limbo between raw and rare. Eschewing high drama, it espouses...
Hey, Dad. Got any spare cash? Thanks.
Today's an even better day to start saving. Because now with 7 5-star ratings, the Commonwealth Bank has Australia's most highly awarded savings accounts.
If only all my precious plans would come true. If you would let me spend my whole life loving you. Life could be a dream, sweetheart.
Tats, your ticket to dream.
Welcome back to our live coverage of the 2006 Jayco Herald Sun Tour final stage. The national team of Australia are on the front. They're working for Simon Gerrans. The situation in the race after 6 days, more than 19 hours, Chris Yongaward, the mountain bike champion of Australia, riding for Savings and Loans, is tied for the lead with Simon Gerrans, the defending champion, 26-year-old who's hoping to become just the 4th man ever to defend his title, go back-to-back in the Herald Sun Tour, and the first man for 32 years to do so. So there's a lot at stake in the concluding stages of this race. On a count-back, Chris Yongaward will take the Tour title if they finish in the bunch. So we've got some precious seconds on offer for the stage victory. 10 seconds is the time bonus for the win, back to 6 seconds for second and 4 seconds for third. So effectively, Simon Gerrans has to finish in the top 3, and he has to be ahead of Chris Yongaward to win the Tour.
David McKenzie, you've won 11 stages of the Jayco Herald Sun Tour. You finished in 2nd place in the overall classification previously. If you could have 30 seconds to talk to Simon Gerrans, what would your advice be?
I think my advice would be get the boys on the front, get your whole team on the front for the last lap, and absolutely at warp speed. And McEwen leading out from that corner because it still hasn't happened. I said it after the first sprint, he has to do it in the second sprint. The second sprint he didn't do it. At the finish he has to do this because Gerrans, as we said, will lose if they finish on the same time.
Pace is increasing slightly. We've got about 16 or 17 minutes until we get the 3 laps to go. It's 80 minutes plus 3 laps in this bike race. It's been a wonderful tour. It's travelled throughout regional Victoria, beginning in Shepparton last weekend. And Jayco and the Herald Sun have got a special prize to make. Let's go to Ian Cohen.
Thanks very much, guys. I'm down here at the Jayco motorhome. There's been a terrific competition running through the Herald Sun and Jayco as well throughout the tour. Andrew Ryan from Jayco is with me, and Andrew, the competition's been magnificent, and of course the motorhome's terrific.
It was a fantastic prize to win. The amount of interest in this competition's been huge, and had to be one winner, and Nina had the best phrase, and well done.
Okay, let's hand over the keys to Nina now. It's a $95,000 motorhome. There it is. Andrew, I'll get you to go in and show Nina and her family inside this terrific motorhome. Jayco, of course, and the Herald Sun getting in behind this draw. And as Andrew said, a massive success with lots and lots of entries. And Nina Morrison and her family, well, they've got a brand new Jayco motorhome. What a terrific competition. Boys, back to you.
$93,000 for the Jayco motorhome. Thank you very much. And Nina was watching the final stage in Benalla as the tour passed through, and Satoshi Hiroshi was the winner there, defeating David Tanner. No change at the front with the under-23 team just doing the work for their senior teammates in the Jayco national team.
Don't imply anything, David Colbert. David McKenzie, we asked you your opinion before in regards to Simon Gerrans. Now I'm interested to see what advice you would give to Chris Yongaward.
Well, I think Chris, he's ridden it fairly well. The second sprint, he probably just got a little bit too carried away, and again, it was the inexperience. So I'd say the same thing because he's got two options actually. It's either follow Gerrans, and this time don't jump too early, or Aitken lead him out and go for the win.
Well, that's the advice from David McKenzie. Let's go down to Ian Cohen. He's in the team area with the team manager for the Savings and Loans outfit, Jeanette Ferris. Kozo.
Thanks very much, David. Jeanette is with us now. And Jeanette, David McCann, your man in Giant Asia, is 4 seconds down. What's his state of mind, though, out there?
At the start, he was very upset because he has a problem with what happened in one of the crashes. But he has to calm down now and try and concentrate on the race because he's 4 seconds down.
Take us through what his thought process was regarding the crash.
He was very upset because he in his mind, he thinks that McEwen should be in the back group because he thought that he was a lap down. So David will talk to us when he gets back and we'll talk through it with the commissaires and we'll go from there.
Jeanette, what about the 4 seconds? It just comes down to pure mathematics now. What have you and David and Toby and the rest of the team all decided?
Well, all the boys are there to help David. Some have already dropped out because they couldn't keep up with the pace. And Toby's in there and Daniel's still in there. So the two of them will be trying to get David where he needs to be.
Thanks very much, Jeanette. Boys, it looks like we could be here for a while yet.
Thank you, Ian Cohen, with Jeanette Ferris, who is cool in the crisis. She's actually the mother of Michelle Ferris, who was an Olympic silver medalist on the track for Australia. So she's seen a fair amount of bike riding. And as we pointed out ourselves earlier when Chris Yongerwood was getting very agitated, can't do anything about it now. Wait until 80 minutes plus 3 laps. If you've won the tour, then you don't have to worry about it at all. Then the inquiry can begin.
Diesel Williams wants his Brownlow medal. David McCann wants his Jayco Herald Sun Tour. There's not a whole lot he can do about it now other than just concentrate on trying to win the stage, get the 10-second bonus, which would clinch him the tour. He's just 4 seconds off the jersey, which is at the moment being shared by Chris Yongerwood and Simon Gerrans. But if the race did stop now, Yongerwood on a count back. I hope that they're nervous because I am watching in anticipation of the final.
I'll tell you what, I'm glad it's not me. I think I used up all my nerve cells in my 10 years racing in the pro peloton, and I wouldn't have any left to try and deal with that because it is the closest finish we will probably see in any event around the world, especially at cycling at least.
So Trent Lowe, he's got the under-23 Make It Happen in Provincial Victoria jersey on. He can't lose that title. He's got it by a massive margin. He holds it by 1 minute and 6 seconds to Simon Clark. Mitch Docker, who had a crash earlier, haven't seen him rejoin the race, Mitch Docker, so he is back in there.
He is back in there. Mitch Docker did rejoin the race. He's just sitting mid to the back of the field. He's in 10th place in overall classification as well. He was in 8th place last year, riding as a teammate of Simon Gerrans. This year, he was disappointed on the first stage in Shepparton, which was a similar sort of a race to this where he lost a bit of time, but he bounced back in brilliant fashion, having picked up 2 second places. Second place to Bendigo, second place to the top of Lake Mountain as well. But Trent Lowe on the white on the left side of the screen, he's got a massive future ahead of him riding for the Discovery Channel team.
Let's just recap this situation with Robbie McEwen. It seems like there was a crash in the opening stages of the race. The question is whether Robbie McEwen had the crash and took the lap out before the breakaway extended their margin over the peloton or after. Now, if it happened when the group was all together, then he's got to go back to the bunch.
That is what is up to debate. They're debating whether the breakaway went away with Robbie McEwen in it and then he crashed, or whether he was in the peloton with the breakaway already away and crashed. We didn't have the footage of it. Maybe there are some tapes of it that weren't going to air, but we could have the commissaires coming up for a little bit of a look in the...
Well, the commissaires can't be everywhere on the course. Clearly now that's the reason why David McCann in particular was so agitated in the first few laps. Every time he went under the start-finish banner, he was screaming at the commissaires. Chris Yongerwood was doing the same thing. They were both on the radios to their team cars saying, what is the situation? So, given that Robbie McEwen is up the front of this group, it would seem to make sense that they may have been away or at least starting to get away. So it's going to be very interesting to see what unfolds here as the pace continues. Great shot from the helicopter, gives you a real appreciation for how fast it is through those little S-bends and how much on their side they get as they go through, and then the road narrows as they come down Cardigan Street, and they take the left-hander into Queensbury.
I don't think anything will happen in regards to this Robbie McEwen issue, because Robbie McEwen is irrelevant to the bike race overall. Although he's a teammate of Simon Gerrans, they can punish Robbie McEwen all they like, but it won't affect the overall outcome of the bike race. And all that matters is Simon Gerrans v Chris Yongerwood, with McCann and Zajcek still in the picture.
Well, they did already disqualify him after that first intermediate sprint when he left his line and impeded Chris Yongerwood.
But it doesn't change the overall shape of the bike race, which is the important thing for the fight for the yellow jersey. Is the Jayco Australian national team led by Tony Mann, the big tall Queenslander, continue to control the pace at the front of the main field. It's really settled down a lot now after that frenetic start, and the Australian team, the Jayco National Australian team, they appear to have a lot more confidence after Simon Gerrans got himself on equal footing with Chris Yongerwood.
Absolutely. I think the first sprint they would have been very disappointed indeed. I think they really truly believed that Gerrans had the upper hand at the starting line. But I spoke to Pat Yonker this morning, and he actually said, I think the Jayco boys are tired. I've been watching them. They just look tired. He said, I don't think they're going to be our biggest danger. So who knows?
They appear to be at this stage at least, as Trent Lowe continues at the front of the main peloton with Zach Dempster on his wheel. The final sprint is going to be very exciting.
Well, we're building up to a big finish, a grandstand finish of the 2006 Jayco Herald Sun Tour. It's going to come down to a drag along Lygon Street to decide the tour for 2006. Don't go away.
I gotta stay here. I gotta figure this out. I don't even know who I'm hiding from.
I don't know who I am!
2 massive weeks, one hell of an identity crisis.
Who am I? You're a malfunctioning $30 million weapon.
Over the next 2 Sundays, Ten's bringing you the killer double that's born to thrill.
Something wrong?
The Bourne Identity, 9 o'clock Sunday on 10.
Shape up for summer with Amart All Sports Health Equipment Sale. For a limited time, get 4 years interest-free on the latest fitness gear. Quality treadmills from $8.99 and these $800 off. Save 25% on selected exercise bikes and weight benches. No deposit, no interest until 2010 on Australia's best deals. TV treadmills save $500. Gym balls half price. Plus heart rate monitors, cross trainers and boxing. Hurry, limited time, only at Amart All Sports, Australia's #1 sports discounter.
Hey, Dad. Got any spare cash? Thanks.
Today's an even better day to start saving. Because now with 7 5-star ratings, the Commonwealth Bank has Australia's most highly awarded savings accounts.
It's a 99. Immaculate body. Sparkling finish. It's done about 90,000 Ks, and I'd say this Falcon was 2 months past its scheduled service. Glad we booked him in, Davo.
Nobody knows your Ford like we do. Visit your Ford dealer now, and our factory-trained technicians will conduct a Ford super service on your EF to AU3 Falcon or Falcon Ute, Laser or Festiva for only $157. Ford service. Nobody knows your Ford like we do.
I know I've got a choice, but I'm happy.
I'm happy because I'm with Host Plus.
Host Plus is an industry super fund that's run only to profit members.
Members get all the profits because Host Plus doesn't pay financial advisors commissions.
No commissions means low fees and higher than average returns.
Higher than average returns means I can get even more in the end.
In the end, if I can get more, my choice is pretty clear.
This spring property tip brought to you by Rams Home Loans.
One of the toughest choices you'll make when selling your house is deciding which agent to use. Ideally, you should speak to 3 agents and ask them to value your home and to provide a detailed analysis to justify their price expectation. Compare what each wants to charge as commission and ask them to justify their fee. It also pays to get references from previous vendors or to visit agents at open houses to watch them in action.
This spring property tip was brought to you by Rams Home Loans.
It's real value, beautiful cotton, and lovely prints on the sleeve, and a really
Pace is back on. Welcome back to the 2006 Jayco Herald Sun Tour final stage. We're building to a big finish here with the finishing sprint set to determine the tour winner for 2006.
And I don't think that we're too far away from it. I think it'll be about another 10 or 15 minutes racing before they get the 3 laps to go, and then it is going to come down to who gets across the line first between Simon Gerrans and Chris Youngwood to get time bonuses to try and clinch the tour overall. But we've still got guys out there trying to win the stage that aren't interested in the overall classification.
Well, Dave McCann's not out of it. He's 4 seconds behind, so
don't underestimate him.
He's not out of this at all. And Phil Zychek, the American who we haven't seen much of at all, he's 10 seconds behind. So if he takes the stage, Gerrans, McCann don't finish in the top 3, then Chris Youngwood is the winner on a countback after the time trial, because Youngwood went faster than Zychek. That is complicated. I've got a headache.
There's so many options. There's so many ways that it could unfold. It's incredible that the race has just settled down now. David, can we expect the likes of HealthNet with Carl Menzies and Greg Henderson in their team, Greg Henderson, a former world champion on the track, to try and launch an attack over the last couple of laps and really interrupt the battle that we're watching for the yellow jersey?
Absolutely. Look, they're a very well-drilled team. They win a lot of races on the US calendar. America is known for its big criterium scene, just like here, circuit races, if you like. So they've got Menzies. He's already won a stage. Henderson comes from a track background, but he's certainly making his name felt in the road scene. So I could see them taking the stage, but you know what else we have to think about here? I think it'll be a miracle if there's not a crash. We've both said that, so it could be really, if one of these guys crashes out of the top 4, suddenly the door could open up. Zychek's not the best position, but it could fall into his lap.
So we've been racing for 1 hour and 15 minutes. The 3 laps to go will come at 1 hour and 20 minutes of racing having been covered. There's Trent Wilson and Tony Mann, along with Trent Lowe from the Jayco Australian national team, just controlling things. Robin McEwen doesn't come to the front at this stage. He's just saving his legs to try and look after Simon Gerrans. Gerrans and Youngwood, they have to be nervous, and McCann has to be thinking, how can I possibly clinch this tour? I finished in 3rd place last year. I'm not really that interested in finishing in 3rd place again this year. He's been beaten by Gerrans and Youngwood in the first 2 intermediate sprints. He's going to have to come up with something special if he is going to clinch the tour.
You talked about the possibility of a fall. The riders, if they have a mechanical problem or fall, as we saw earlier, there was a crash, they can have a lap out. Once we get down to the last 5 laps, then that is it. So if you fall off your bike or have a puncture, could you imagine in this situation if you had a flat tyre that decides the tour? If you have a flat tyre in this situation with 5 laps to go, tour over.
Absolutely. And another thing Patrick Yonker said to me, Steve Cunningham, a teammate of Chris Youngwood, he's got the same size bike as Youngwood. He's got the same pedals. His seat height is 15 mil difference, but that's easily changed. They can do that in a matter of 10 seconds. So, you know, it's handy to know, I guess, that he's got a teammate there just in case something does happen in the last 5 laps, because he would have to chase. We would see the whole team drop back to try and rejoin him up, or, you know, either of those teams would see the same scenario.
If Steve Cunningham managed to get in that breakaway that Chris Youngwood found himself in, where he was heavily outnumbered by Simon Gerrans' Jayco Australian national team. But now for Youngwood, he's got Brett Aiken with him. He's also got Russell Van Hout with him, the current Australian national road champion. That in the blue, just going through the screen on the back wheel of Robbie McEwen, is Brett Aiken. Brett Aiken, in that second intermediate sprint, as he was going up the inside, it looked like he impeded Chris Youngwood as much as he assisted him. He just kind of got in the way a little bit, I thought. But he is a man of experience.
He is a man of experience, but as I said, it's, you know, McEwen, Aitken, 2 of the very classiest sprinters in the world. Aitken from a track background, but it's so hard to judge these sprints, and they both made blues. Ironic, really. McEwen, world's best sprinter, arguably, and he made a mistake in that first sprint.
Pace is increasing here. The pace is definitely increasing, and you can see the peloton stretched out almost over the entire 300 metres.
They want to make sure that nobody can get away. We spoke about the prospect of someone from the HealthNet team going on the attack. The Jayco Australian national team, along with the Australian under-23 team, they want to make sure that nobody gets away from this group. So as you know, Gerrans got every chance of taking it out, because now they've got their confidence up after having beaten Chris Youngwood in the second intermediate sprint. They believe in Simon Gerrans, and so they should. He's the defending champion. If he does defend it, he'll be the first one since Graham McVilly back 1973, 1974, the Tasmanian. The Victorian from Mansfield trying to do it this time round.
Absolutely. I mean, he'll be creating a little bit of history. The first Aussie to do so in 32 years. But I think there'll be guys that will possibly try and attack here, but they won't go anywhere. The pace is going to be so fast in these last 5 laps. Even now, as you said, Dave Colbert, it's just picked up another level.
Pretty sure we've got 4 laps to go. I think we're going to get to 3 laps to go. We're coming up to the 80-minute mark of the bike race. So just to confirm the situation, there's the time. So as they come back around, I reckon the commissaires will give the 3 laps to go once they get around to the start-finish line. Any mechanical problems now? Flat tyre. Basically, it's the tour over for the leading contenders. Just to recap, because it will get exciting, Chris Yongaward, the South Australian, the mountain bike champion of Australia. He competed for the Commonwealth in the mountain bike at the Commonwealth Games. He finished 4th there. He is tied with Simon Gerrans for the lead. If it comes back to a countback, Yongo Ward will win the Tour. Gerrans is trying to defend his title. David McCann, the Irishman, he's in this pack. We haven't seen much of him. He's got the white top and the green nicks of Ireland. He is 4 seconds behind. And Phil Zajac riding for the Navigators team. He's in the blue uniform. He is 10 seconds behind the leader as they swing into Lygon Street. They're going to get 3 laps to go.
And as you were saying, the Australian team now just staying on the front to keep the pace up high so as nobody can get away, to try and make it as clean a sprint as they possibly can to protect Simon Gerrans. The HealthNet team, though, although they won't affect the overall classification amongst themselves, they're not contesting for that. They really want to pick up a stage win. They had a stage win into Bendigo with Carl Menzies. As we see at the top of this is on the right-hand side of the screen, one of the HealthNet riders trying to make their way through. 3 laps to go.
3 laps to go, that's right. And the thing about HealthNet, Max, is they could get in the way. Of course, they don't have any bearing on the overall result, but they just could get in the way here. And we saw, how tight it is. There's only so much room across that road. 4 or 5 riders probably. And when they're sprinting flat out, even less.
Well, Chris Yongwood has got himself up into 3rd wheel. The rider that is in 2nd position going around the corner is one of his teammates, Russell Van Hout, from the Savings and Loans team. One thing you can say about the Savings and Loans team, they're just a domestic team based in South Australia, but geez, they ride well together. A couple of years ago, they had Patrick Yonker, former 12th place in the Tour de France, managed to win the Tour Down Under.
There's a kick here. The pace is on again. Pace is definitely on.
Yeah, Russell Van Hout it is that is going off the front, the teammate of Chris Yongwood, so maybe he's trying to get off the front to steal the time bonuses. They know about the countback.
They know what's going on. They've been told, obviously, and look at Van Hout. Look at the expression on this guy's face. He is going for it. They want to win this Tour, and they are trying to send guys up the road now. And look at the pace. Look at it. Look at the gaps opening up. It is starting to splinter.
So they're trying to take the stage win here. The South Australian Savings and Loans team, they're led out by the national champion, Russell Van Hout. He actually lost the Tour of Tasmania by a second to Luke Roberts a couple of years ago, so he knows what it's like to have a narrow victory. He's done, though. That was his one-off attempt to try and get away. He shakes the head. His legs are fried.
Well, he's going to pay the price for that now as he slips back down through the peloton. HealthNet now take up the running at the front. As we come back up into Lygon Street, they are all strung out. We're not too far away from getting the bell to let us know that we've got 1 lap to go as Trent Lowe continues at the front of the peloton. I can feel my own heart rate starting to go up now as we're approaching the final laps.
He's done power of work, Trent Lowe. He's been on the front virtually the entire time, and situation normal. 2 laps remaining. 2 laps to go to decide the 2006 Herald Sun Tour, and there's a train departing Lygon Station. It's the HealthNet Maxis team of Carl Menzies. They want to win the stage.
They do want to win the stage. They've got 2 good options, and McCann is trying to get involved as well. We see him in the white colours on the far right hand of the screen. He is trying to move himself forward. He's not out of it. There's 3 that can win it.
That's right, but look, they are a well-drilled team, the HealthNet Maxis team. I can see OB there. Look at the line. OB at 3rd place. Henderson. And then the last rider there in Carl Menzies. They are going for the stage win. They couldn't care less about the overall classification. But it is really only down to 3 riders now.
But they could really affect the overall classification when they do get involved in this sprint. The HealthNet team have got themselves very well organised. The second last rider in that line is Greg Henderson, the former world champion. He's got Menzies on his wheel. Then McEwen, Gerrans, Yongaward.
And where's Brett Aitken? He's right behind Chris Yongaward. So he can't afford to get involved in a scrap. Perhaps he's been given the instructions to stay behind Simon Gerrans. Looks like Matt Wilson has got himself in between Simon Gerrans and Chris Yongaward. So there's a little bit of blocking, a little bit of manoeuvring going on as they come up. They'll take the left-hand corner. They'll be in Lygon Street for the penultimate time.
They don't. What they want to be careful of these guys, Matt Wilson has said, in between there, if he causes any argy-bargy in that last lap, it could go to the judges, the commissaires, and we might not know the winner for quite some time.
Could go to the commissaires. I reckon that's an absolute certainty. I think there'll be some discussion because they're going to be all over the road. We've got the situation here that the Health Net Max's team of Carl Menzies, they want to get the stage win. Robbie McEwen right behind them. Then Simon Gerrans, Chris Yongerwood on his wheel.
Well, Yongerwood needs to get off the wheel of Matt Wilson. He needs to get in front of him. He needs to get himself up behind Simon Gerrans, and he'll be looking for Brett Aiken to give him the support to allow him to do that.
6 days in the saddle, 7 today, nearly 800 kilometres, over 19 hours. They are tied. Chris Yongerwood and Simon Gerrans with a lap to go. What is going to happen? Can Gerrans defend his title? Will Chris Yongerwood, the South Australian, take the biggest win of his career?
Health Net are going to win the stage. That's my pick. It's going to be Henderson or Menzies, and the fight for third place. Third place, I'm predicting Yongerwood will win this tour. He will win this tour. Another sprinter will come into the fold and cancel Gerrans out of it.
Well, Yongerwood has got a little bit of work to do because he's got himself behind Matt Wilson as opposed to behind Simon Gerrans. Just spotted his head and it was wobbling a little bit as he was trying to pick up the wheel. On the right with the black booties on and the Savings and Loan colours is Brett Aiken. He's trying to move up to assist Chris Yongerwood. He just goes onto the shoulder as Menzies is the third rider in line for the Health Net team, the Tasmania, who's won here previously.
Menzies, he won the first stage here a few years ago. Henderson in second wheel. They know what they're doing. Looking back, there's McEwen, there's Gerrans, Wilson and Yongerwood. Yongerwood's still got to get around Wilson.
Brett Aiken up in front of Chris Yongerwood now. You can just see him in the blue vest. There he is on the right-hand side of the screen in the sunglasses and the white helmet. And he has just put out Matt Wilson. So Yongerwood is right behind him. Have a look at this. They're going to come to this left-hander. They're all over the road. They are all over the road. They've got to be careful here. One rider's gone wide. This is going to be very exciting. Menzies in second wheel. He's going to try and take the stage win. Then Robbie McEwen. He's leading out Simon Gerrans, the defending champion. Then it's the Olympic champion, Brett Aiken. He's leading out the man who's in front at the moment. Now McEwen goes.
Gerrans trying to come at him.
Looks like Menzies going to get the stage win if he can get up, and Gerrans might win the tour here. It's going to be very tight. McEwen in front. McEwen might get the stage. Gerrans goes back to back. McEwen wins the stage. Gerrans wins the tour.
Unbelievable. When they came around that final left-hander, Yongerwood was gone. Aiken was almost in his way. Gerrans absolutely brilliant. What a finish.
These guys are professionals. Robbie McEwen, what a job. Sacrificed himself all week to deliver Simon Gerrans back-to-back tour crowns. Chris Yongerwood says, I was beaten by a better man. 32 years since someone has gone back-to-back. It's the 26-year-old from the high country in Victoria, Simon Gerrans.
That is unbelievable. I really thought Yongerwood had his measure, but you could see, as you said, two big professional riders on big European teams. They got the better of him in that last half a lap.
Getting the congratulations from Simon Clark. Robbie McEwen, he came here to ride as a support rider for Simon Gerrans, and he has delivered him to the line. McEwen, he's on the mouthpiece talking back to his team managers as he waits for Matt Wilson, his teammate, who did a mountain of work for him right throughout the tour. Tonight, I think they'll celebrate.
There's the confirmation. Robbie McEwen goes across the line in first place.
Henderson, it looked like it was in second.
And Gerrans has already let go of the handlebars. He said, you beauty. I've defended the title.
2 seconds, is it? I think it's 2 seconds that he's won the title by. 4 seconds. 4 seconds. He's won the tour by 4 seconds from Chris Yongerwood. Extraordinary finish. And David McCann in third in the overall classification. Simon Gerrans shakes his head almost in disbelief.
What about that final corner when they came into the little short stretch along Queensbury Street? They went wide. Carl Menzies lost one of his men. He didn't have the legs left. Greg Henderson did a cracking job to stay up with them, and Brett Aiken just couldn't deliver Chris Yongerwood to the line, but he gave it everything he had, Chris Yongerwood. Let's not take it away from him. He rode a fantastic time trial yesterday, but just couldn't do the business today.
That's right. Look, he threw the challenge out in the first sprint. It all looked very good for him then. Then things came a bit unravelled in the second sprint, came down to the final one, and we said it'd be a miracle if there wasn't a crash. I think we've just witnessed the miracle, guys.
Well, It's been such a long year for Simon Gerrans. He set himself for the Commonwealth. He won the Tour Down Under in January, set himself for the Commonwealth Games, went back to Europe with his AG2R, his French team. He had a crash, broke his collarbone, had pins inserted. They're still in there. He's going to see Greg Hoy, the surgeon who looks after Matthias Muradhran, next week to see if he needs to have them out. He rode the Tour de France this year as a domestique. He didn't get the chance to ride for some stage wins like he did last year when he got a podium finish in the Tour de France. He's come back after all of that. He's ridden his heart out for 7 days. He had the yellow jersey after the climb up Lake Mountain. He gets it back. What a performance.
A brilliant performance. Well, you've described his season. It was an up and down season for him. He did well to bounce back from the injuries that he had in the early part of the season. He wanted the Commonwealth Games gold medal, but he gets the Herald Sun Tour, the Jayco Herald Sun Tour for 2006.
Presentation's not too far away. Simon Gerrans defends his title in one of the most exciting finishes to a stage race you will ever see. It was riveting stuff from the time they left the starting blocks. 2 intermediate sprints, they were equal. Simon Gerrans and Chris Jongerward. The drag up Lygon Street, Robbie McEwen wins the stage. Simon Gerrans defends his title. The presentation coming up right after this.
Okay, listen up, people. We got one last rehearsal for Meerkat Manor, 6:30 Sunday. Okay, Mitch, on action, put your arm around your little brother and whisper to him, "Why is Mum trying to kill everyone?" And action. Oh, that's great. Beautiful kid. Cut.
Then at 7 o'clock, for this couple, the Knights have lost their spark. All because of this little mongrel.
She allows that behaviour.
Can Victoria kickstart some action?
It's Meerkat's Mutts and Marriage Mayhem from 6:30 Sunday.
Mummy and I found our new home. Daddy! Nobody does it. It's gonna be my room. LJ Hooker, you're the thanks, Miss Cooker.
Ooh. At last, I've found something that really works.
Glade Clean and Pure for the bathroom. Most air fresheners just mask bad odours. Only Glade Clean and Pure wipes out odours and bacteria in the air. Glade Clean and Pure for the bathroom. How refreshing.
Dad, got any spare cash? Thanks.
Today's an even better day to start saving. Because now with 7 5-star ratings, the Commonwealth Bank has Australia's most highly awarded savings accounts.
All your favourite As Seen on TV products can be found at globalshopdirect.com.au. Do you wish you could drive the ball like Mark O'Meara? Now you can with the Medicus. It'll help you get rid of those hooks and slices and start hitting longer, straighter tee shots and shooting lower golf scores. The Medicus dual hinge driver can improve your golf swing in as little as 15 minutes. The results are amazing. And best of all, you won't believe the price. So go to globalshopdirect.com.au. Remember the name, it's globalshopdirect.com.au. Your online As Seen on TV store.
If only all my precious plans would come true. If you would let me spend my whole life loving you. Life could be a dream, sweetheart.
Tats, your ticket to dream.
Thanks for choosing Dell. What can we build for you?
I need a new computer.
What'll you use it for most?
A bit of video editing, going
At Dell, we don't build technology for just anyone. Dell, uniquely you. This Inspiron 6400 features Intel's super-fast Core 2 Duo processor. Buy online and build it from just $1,249 delivered. So go online now or call 13 35 53.
What a finish. What a finale. Robbie McEwen wins the stage. Simon Gerrans wins the tour. And they are going to have a celebration in the city of Melbourne tonight.
They certainly will, and they deserve it after what has been an extraordinary tour.
Well, there's a huge crowd down there ready for the presentation. Ian Cohen is amongst them. He's got the stage winner, the 3-time Tour de France sprint champion, Robbie McEwen.
Thanks very much, David Colbert. Indeed, we have here. What did you think of that? You're not going to see a closer race than that for Robbie McEwen to take out. Robbie, tell us about that last day. We thought you might lift the Lygon Street. You certainly did, but what a way to finish.
Oh, I think it was a nerve-wracking day for everybody. It was an incredible battle. As I'm sure you saw for the intermediate sprints, here today every second counted, and we had a plan before the race, and the first intermediate sprint didn't go our way, and we just kept battling on and just took it second by second in the final. The team just rode so well. What Simon and I did was just completing what they set us up for. They did a fantastic job.
It was literally second by second. Have you ever been experienced in such a race that came down to the wire like this one did?
Oh, it reminds me of a couple of times we won the green jersey in the Tour. It's not seconds, it's points, but it's the same thing. It's a battle all the way to the finish line. It's never done until you cross that line. And I used those experiences from in the Tour in this last day. We just kept believing in it and believing in Simon, and he didn't let us down. He's won the Tour in just fantastic style on in the very last metres, and we're really pleased for him.
What about this terrific crowd here for the Jayco Herald Sun Tour, the grand finale? They've been fantastic. Did they help get you over the line?
Yeah, they've been incredible, and they were just supporting the whole way through the race, and it's always great to race in Melbourne. It's my first time racing in Lygon Street, and what a crowd. It was unreal.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give him a big round of applause. And the flowers for the stage winner are going to be presented by the Lord Mayor, John So. Give him a big round of applause. Robbie McEwen, 34-year-old from Queensland. He saved his best till last. 11 stage victories in the Tour de France as well.
So Robbie McEwen, Eddie Merckx just behind him there. We'll get to him in a moment, the legendary bike rider from Belgium. Confirmation of the stage results. Robbie McEwen takes it out ahead of Greg Henderson, the New Zealander, riding for the HealthNet Maxxis team. And Simon Gerrans, he's never had a better third place in his entire life, that's for sure. There's confirmation of the top three. And Robbie McEwen, we wondered when he was going to win a stage. He really did fight his way through the Tour. Let's go back down to the presentation area. Ian Cohen is there with the defending champion. He's gone back to back. What a performance it's been by Simon Gerrans. So let's go down to the presentation and Ian Cohen.
Thank you very much, guys. And Simon Gerrans, he's hiding behind me here. I tell you what, he was hiding for a bit of the race as well, Simon, but you managed to get out there in front when you needed to.
Oh yeah, we sure left it to the last second to grab those last bonus seconds today. As you can see, my teammates just did a fantastic job. I couldn't have done it without less one of those guys. We wouldn't have won today. So it's just such a fantastic team effort. I'm just so wrapped for everybody.
Back-to-back has not been done for 32 years. You're one of only 4 people to actually do it. What does it mean to you?
To win it back-to-back is just, it's just incredible. I wasn't really thinking about winning back-to-back. I was just thinking about winning, and that we did. So.
It was certainly nerve-wracking last night. How well did you sleep with only 1 second separating the top 3 riders?
Not too well at all. I only got a couple of hours sleep actually. I was tossing and turning and going through scenarios in my head all night long, and so I was a bit heavy-eyed this morning, but we managed to pull it through off.
You certainly did. Can you almost believe it now? Last year when I spoke to you, you were in disbelief. Now you've done it back-to-back. Your team, it's been an all-star cast, have certainly helped you.
Yeah. Last year was a dream come true, and this year's just the same again. We've had to work so hard this week to win it. I think the competition was so much more tougher this year, and it was so much more difficult being defending champion. I was just marked from the day one, so to win it this week, it's just been incredible.
Congratulations. Please give him a big round of applause again. You won't see a better finish, and Simon Gerrans has taken it out. Stay up here with us for the presentation, but we do have another couple to get through as well. The jersey for the HLP Mortgage Co. King of the Mountain jersey is being presented by Peter Berlowitz, General Manager, HLP Mortgage Co. And the winner of the King of the Mountain, Matthew Lloyd, Team SouthAustralia.com, AIS. Give him a round of applause. 23-year-old Victorian did it very, very well. of course, Mount Borbor in 2004 as well. He's going to be riding for Davidimon Lotto on the outfit next year. 3rd place overall in the Baby Giro as well, as he puts on something that is rightly his, the HLP Mortgage Company King of the Mountain jersey. Give him a big round of applause again, Matthew Lloyd. Well done, Matthew. Now, the jersey for the Portfolio Partners Best Sprinters jersey, that, of course, is the green one. That is going to be presented by an absolute legend of the sport. And I'd like you to put your hands together for the 5-time Tour de France winner, 5-time Giro d'Italia winner, of course, the great Eddie Merckx. The winner of the Best Sprinter is Hilton Clark Team Navigators. Representing Team Navigators and Eddie Merckx presenting the...
Okay, so Hilton Clark obviously not able to come to the presentation, which will be a huge disappointment because it's been presented by Eddie Merckx, the Portfolio Partners Sprint Champion. He did have a crash earlier in the stage, so he takes it out ahead of Tobias Erler. So let's take a break. We'll come back with the presentation of the yellow jersey to the defending champion, Simon Gerrans. What a day it's been, the 2006 Jayco Herald Sun Tour.
It's their most challenging case.
They are abnormally close.
Evil times 2.
I told you no more!
Some crimes are just too good to miss.
You came up with the perfect crime.
SVU, 8:30 Monday.
Win the ride of your life with Dean Grant at his 400 horsepower hand-cooked Porsche GT3 around Calder Raceway. Just buy 4 hand-cooked Ventus ultra high performance tyres from participating hand-cooked dealers and you could win one of 20 hand-cooked hot laps. Enter now.
Hey, Dad.